It's that time of the year again, boys. Hockey season is upon us. The season started today. Welcome to our season premiere. I am your commissioner and champion, Team Ramrod. And with me this week, I have GM of Saucier Pass.
Happy to be back. Hockey season's here. Ready for some fun?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been it's been a while.
we got some fun in store here. We're going to chit chat about no, just the league in general. We got some trades to review. We have week one predictions. Yeah, we were supposed to have another guest, but Team Rocket, I think he pussied out. He's too afraid to show his face against his opponent, his week one opponent, the Champion. So I don't blame him. Um, so I guess let's start off by welcome everyone back. It's gonna be a great season.
How many years
Everyone,
is this now that we have this group? Is this
this,
three for Casey?
Casey
Three
is the
for
newest
Casey.
GM, and this is his third season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's nice to see
yeah.
some consistency compared to the first handful of years, right? Half
I'm so
dozen
proud that
years.
we have 10 of our OG GMs out of a 16 team league. And this is our 10th anniversary, guys. This is a big season.
This is a
Uh,
big year.
Big year. So this is gonna be a lot of fun, I think. Um, Good news on a from a commissioner point. Everyone has paid except one person. I'm not worried about this one person though. So all the ones that are
But we're
usually
good.
harder to hunt down have paid. So that's awesome. Thank you for paying promptly, guys. It's going to be a good year. I can't wait to take all your money and spend it on trolling you again. Well, as you guys know, I'm the champion. I got the title here made. Got my championship rings. And
Oh
this is what
fuck.
it's all about, boys. This trophy.
Right
Some of
there.
you have seen this. Some of you know what it's like to have your name on here. Not many, though. In the
Nope.
9 seasons, we have what?
Seven.
Two, three, four, five, six different champions.
Who's the other repeat? You have three.
No, there was the COVID year that
Oh,
we did not crown
yeah,
a
yeah.
champion.
It's only six, eh?
Only six in nine
Yeah.
years.
Mark, the only non-OG winner,
Yeah,
I
that's
believe.
a blemish because that
Yeah.
that whole side of the trophy has my name on it, except for that one spot.
He'll
Um,
always be a thorn in your side.
Yeah, he says that, but I tell him all the time, like he brags about that one thing, but he hasn't made the playoffs since. So what have you done since then, buddy?
That's
Nothing.
true. Can't even show his face on here.
Yeah, he would hide it. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
If I was that ugly, I would hide my face too. It's gonna be a
uh,
fun time here. Again, guys, the Champions T-shirt. Remember the slogan this year: "Better than you." If you want your copy, let me know. $30 will get you a nice copy of this memorabilia to remember the fact that I am better than you. So let's get it. Let's get into some fun
speaking
here.
on behalf of the whole league, fuck you.
Hey, you guys already made me a villain, so you all want me to lose. You're all hating on me. It's okay.
Fucking
If that's what it takes to
your
make
little
you guys
sidekick
better,
Sean over there with you, giving you all the wins, trading you the players.
trade. If someone's gonna trade me players, like because I
Yeah.
pay for them. That's the thing. People will say
Yeah.
let's boycott trading them, but they want my assets, so
Yep.
I'm willing
What's
to give
left
them
of
up.
them? What's left of them now?
Yeah, we'll talk about that because I moved a
Yeah.
lot. Uh,
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we both did. We were both pretty active.
yeah.
Yep.
Let's get into some fun though. We were usually do power rankings in the first episode. We decided this year let's not do power rankings because, well, why? It's like it's one person, two people's opinion on where the league stands. We all know the league is top heavy right now. There hasn't been a big shift in the off season, so we're gonna go into something a little different here. Let's start with I guess let's start with our predictions on who's going to win this year. Let's start with that because we'll get into the other part. I'll be more detailed later. Corey, who do you think is going to win this year?
I want to. I don't know. It's a tough. That's a tough prediction to make. Um, So you can't go on who it is going to be now. You got to go with who's going to have a team then. So I went with Dan. I think he has a really strong keeper base. He's really stingy with his trades, and he really gets deals done though still. And I just think he is a guy that can make his team competitive, if that's what he wants to do. And with getting Shesterkin last year, that filled a really big gap, and I think he'll have a chance at being a champ. I think he's shown some strong seasons as a GM so far.
See, here's the thing. We would have had Kyle to give a little more variety, but we all know who I'm picking to win. Le
Yeah,
Champion is going for a three-peat for his fourth title in 5 seasons, and I think I have the team to do it. My keeper base is far superior than majority of the league, and I'm already off with a head start with the deals I've made. So, um, yeah, I
yeah.
don't think it's a competition. Get your act together, fucking losers.
Well, you only keep five of the 18, so still lots of variety there for people that have better players than you. So we'll see what it looks like then down the road, right?
We'll see what it looks like down the
With
road.
injuries, with getting charged for allegations, like you never know what's going to happen to your team.
My team's
Last
fine.
season, lose heart halfway through the year.
Well, my team isn't full of rapists. So I don't draft rapists.
Not that you know of, not that you know of.
No, I stay away from the whole Chicago organization for that because we all know what that's like. No, my team, we only accept top quality guys. A few jobbers here and there because you need those guys that to add drop. But that's it.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Um,
them.
Last place. Who do you think is gonna? Where's your prediction from last place?
You got to go with Travis because the players he is investing in, it's not like they're gonna be having like great seasons. Like he kind of knows the situation. I'd rather not just go with the obvious choice and take a
That's what
shot at
I decided
somebody.
not to go with the obvious choice.
Yeah, I wanted to go that way, but I just don't think it's competition right now. He's yeah, I don't know.
I think Travis is active enough with trades that he'll be a little competitive. I went with Casey. I think it's Casey's year to finish bottom. His goaltending is just atrocious. He's hoping Levy and Askarov become a starter this season. I don't think either will be the starter this season. They are the long-term starters in those organizations.
Yep,
Um, but they're going to
it's a
be
long
at
ride to
best
wait.
backup this season. Like,
Yeah, it's a long ride to wait for that.
yeah.
You got to hope it times well, right? And you got to carry that weight otherwise, even if it's dead weight. So that's the issue.
And I think that's going to be his crutch, and that he's gonna win a Caucasaurus this season. That was my pick. I did not. I think Travis will still be more competitive than Casey.
I think mine is kind of hoping he gets the golden dick too, so that's part of it. It would look good with them. Fucking blend
Loves
right
lit
in.
dick.
Yeah,
Now we
might as well
decided to
call him
make it a
Lynn's
little more
son.
fun. Surprise to make the playoffs. So
Oh,
when we say surprise to make the playoffs, we're talking about not the regulars, like the guys who made we when we discussed it, we said not the guys who made the playoffs last year. So
yep.
who's your selection?
I have two. So without Kyle here, I mean, I guess I can go through them.
Yeah,
I kind of commented on Daltrey. Missed out on the playoffs last year. Really stocked up on draft picks. 4 6 round picks, 5 7th round picks, a couple eighths, ninth. See, he better be a playoff team when you do that. Um, I'll comment on this later, but a few early draft pick misses, in my opinion. He's in a position he could go far. He has to stop making trades like to Foley for a ninth with a guy he also drafted in the eighth for a guy drafted in the 14th, but nothing's really changed in the whole situation. Um, I think less is more for him, and that's my take. If
he
he
always
can
trades
sit
himself
tight
out
and
of
do a
contention.
little less, then I think he's going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Daltrey made the playoffs. To be honest, who was your other pick?
And then I got Derek. Swayman's should sign. I think he had a really good draft, a lot of good picks.
I think he might get
I don't
traded.
think we would be surprised if he made the playoffs.
I don't mind the Daltrey pick because, like, again, I don't feel like Daltrey's a surprise. I feel Daltrey is like a mid-tier team. Whether that's on the playoff side or not, that's up to him if he sets his lineup and pays attention. Derek would be a surprise if he made it because he's been slumping a lot lately. So
Yep.
I do like that pick. His whole team relies on the Red Wings. If they do well, then he'll do well. So interesting selection. I went right off the board here with a surprise. If I was going for a surprise team, I want a surprise team. I went with
Sean.
Braden Byweek.
Oh shit. There you
Yeah.
go.
What I'm thinking is Braden, he's pretty absent-minded, but he joined the GM assistance program and reached out and found a friend. And as long as the friend isn't as dumb as he is, maybe it'll help him. Maybe it'll help him return to form and make the playoffs. He already made a big trade this after the draft, which I do like because he improved his goaltending situation. And his team is not that bad. I feel what always hurt him is that he's just never around. So
His drafts weren't bad.
no,
Just the inactivity, right? They're just leaving people on the IR and out, not setting your lineup, like
he
trading Kaprizov for Campbell.
he's been so
Like
active already this year. It's been more active than he's been in the last 4 seasons.
it's nice to see though.
It's nice to see, and I
Yeah.
think if he focuses like that, he could sneak into a playoff. I'm not saying he's gonna really get into the playoffs here, but he'll be a nice first
Yeah.
round victory for myself or Nick or whoever's finishing at the top. But yeah, I
See?
picked Braden to surprise people, um, and hopefully maybe we'll see. It'd be good for him, be good for the league, kind of to have the joke of the league kind of step it up a bit.
Well, I think he's the only one who's really separated out in inactivity right now, right? So it's nice to see 'cause now it brings everyone to that tier.
That's it. That's it. That's
Everyone's
all it
making
needed was to
trades.
call a friend to
Yeah,
help him. Then okay, do it. I don't
yeah,
care.
yeah. No, loving the direction the league is going right now.
You share your login info with whoever the fuck you want. I don't care.
Yeah, got some work to cut out though.
Surprise team to miss the playoffs.
So I have Travis as the obvious choice.
Again, you went with the
I'm just
obvious.
gonna move on. I'm just gonna move on from that. But I do want to take the opportunity to call it out. So I'll take that 10 seconds to just say your team is trash. You're going down.
It
But
is
you already
trash.
know that.
He knows it. It's fucking trash.
And then the surprise one I have here is Neil. Neil's typically a competitive team who's up there. I don't think he had the greatest draft compared to normal years for him. I don't know if he was with you guys drinking, you guys want fun. I think he has some work to do to improve his team. Trading Shesterkin last year and then Sorokin really dipping in performance near the end of the season is concerning. His goalies were always the really strong competitive piece to his team that kept him
But
in a
Freddie
lot of
though.
weeks. Pardon
Freddie's
me?
a playoff guy.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. He did do well for you. I cannot criticize that. I would have lost a lot of money there though if I was a betting man. But that's my take on the surprise upset who's not going to make the playoffs.
I wish Kyle was here because I know I was talking to Kyle the other day, and Kyle was saying Neil was his choice too. So I was curious.
Mm,
I would have been curious to see his point of view. Um, I went with Dan. I
mm.
figured if out of all the big teams from last season, uh, Dan is in a rebuild after he went all in last year and his team didn't show up in the finals because they're a fucking bunch of jokes. Um,
Wasn't it me against you in the finals?
no, it was me and him in the finals. We even played in the semis.
Was us in the semis?
Yeah, yeah. He beat Nick to make it to the
Oh,
finals.
yeah,
And his
yeah,
team
yeah,
didn't show
yeah,
up. He beat him like 12-2 or
yeah,
12-3. It was
yeah.
pathetic. Um, but that was his best shot at winning. And now he went into this year's draft with no real picks. He did well for what he had.
Yeah.
But I feel, like you said earlier, he's stingy with his trades. That rubs some GMs the wrong way. And some GMs are reluctant to work with that. So he might have to
It's true.
loosen the strings a bit. if he wants to be competitive this year. And again, I'm not saying he won't make the playoffs. I'm saying if any of the big teams from last year doesn't, that would be who I would envision not making it. I still think he's gonna, but I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah,
if he doesn't make it. And that's not a knock on his team because I've seen how bad they are firsthand in the finals. Didn't stand a chance.
that,
Well, that was a little
interesting
exercise that we
take.
threw together, right? Uh, I like that more than power rankings because it opens up some
Yeah,
dialogue, some discussion. I don't have the trades up. I need to get those trades up. That's my bad. What am I doing here? Amateur hour.
it's been a
League.
while. We should have did a preseason one just to get the jitters out.
Should have. Oh, got the jitters. The champion was nervous.
Oh, has to be styling.
No, we got this. There's a lot of trades so
There's a
far
lots of trades to talk about. Yeah, you got to go to a second page, or
on
is
the
this
scroll
good?
down. So we'll
Good.
start with this first one that went through. So anyone who doesn't know, it's too bad again Kyle wasn't here because Kyle was really against not happy with what Travis did. So it would have been
It's
nice to
different than any other season.
he didn't like that, right after the draft, all his keepers were gone. It's not illegal or anything, but I would have liked to hear his thoughts on it, on why he didn't like it. Maybe next week if Kyle's on the show, we'll get him to go over that. But everyone knows Travis made deals in the offseason to move his keepers immediately. Most people went with their trades. Someone backed out because they're a pussy. That's okay. That's okay.
I can
Um,
speak to that. I can speak to that.
so we'll start off with this one. Who's this? Forsberg. Where'd he go? Hold on. I gotta move this over a bit, I guess.
To Dre.
The Dre. So yeah, Nick picking up Forsberg for and a 17th for Samuelson and a 6th. Now what he did was Travis with the for the player that was coming back, he took our last picks of the draft. It's like you grab this guy for me, which I thought was fair. I didn't care. I was
Yep.
moving those players anyway. So he wanted Samuelson. He got Samuelson in a 6th for Philip Forsberg and a 17th. What do you think of this?
I mean, Forsberg's worth a sixth. He had a great year last year. We all know Nashville's offense should probably pick it up a tier this year with the offseason moves. I think it's a great value for Nick. Um, I don't know if you'd be able to get more than that for Forsberg from Travis's point of view either. So I think it's good from both teams.
I think again, this gives Nick a head start over a lot of other teams. But all
Full
these deals
season,
that he did, right?
yeah,
So
full season with Forsberg, right? So
definitely worth a 6 if you're paying for a 6. I personally like to move it early so I get a full season out of that player because they're probably not better than my keepers. The player I'm getting a 6, I'm moving my 6 for, right? So
yeah,
that's the way
unless you
I.
get keepers like me, so we'll get there.
Here's my trade. I got Bobrovsky, Truba, a 14, 15, and 18 for Leo Carlson, Matthew Nyes, a 6, 7, and 8. Now, when I made the deal, I asked them, my only request was don't give me your 16, 17, and 18. And I
Mm.
thought that was fair coming back. I don't mind taking the 18, but give me a little variety so I get some okay stuff back. What do you think of this?
It it's hard to argue the value he got for the three picks. Really, the trade is made on as long as Bobrovsky's healthy. I think it's fair. It's kind of funny because I completely forgot about the trades going into the draft, and you drafted Carlson and Ives, and I was like, "What the like that was not a typical Shane draft pick for my point of view." And then I'm like, oh, "Okay, that makes so much more sense now." Going Travis picking those players. I think you get a full season of Bobrovsky. You went with 4 player keepers, so you really want to get that second goalie early. I'm assuming True is obviously a beast. I think it's a good deal for you too. Really takes away your trade value, but we'll see how that goes.
I would have moved 2 picks for a top goalie anyway, and now
Yeah.
I have the goalie on the Stanley Cup champions.
And
Who,
no player of value, right? Going the other way. So
yeah, without something like super significant. Yeah, my picks are
yeah,
there, but again, my 6, 7, and 8 are going to be late rounds,
yeah.
right? So
That's the hope. That's
I
the
like
hope, right? So
Bobrovsky. That's the whole. That's what's happened. Come on. When was the last time I
we'll see.
picked? There was only 1 year I didn't make the playoffs.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah. And you know what I did that year? I picked up a little guy named Matthew Kachuk from you, but I was selling at the deadline.
Yeah.
So
Oh, fuck. Those
even
were
in
the
those years,
days.
I made good moves. But Truba was key for me. Um, Going into the draft, it's hard to get when you were drafted in the 10th round. You worry about your grit. Um,
That's true.
So I
You don't
wanted to
get the
make sure that I had at least one top tier grit player, and essentially my thought process was Bobrovsky was worth the 2 picks, Trouba was worth the seventh or eighth or whatever for what I need.
yeah,
Uh, I was very
easily.
happy with that. I feel that gives me a big head start um, on my repeat because now I have 7 top tier players, not including guys I drafted. So, um,
Yep.
who was this one? This was Braden. Braden making the move. Now, after you backed out on the Skinner deal, we'll get your opinion on why you did that in a minute. I know Daltrey was in talks about Stuart Skinner and wouldn't pull the trigger. And then Braden comes out of nowhere and gives him Max Domi a 6 and an 8 for Skinner a 13 and an 11. Um, What I like about though this trade for Braden is that 11 and 13 aren't crazy picks.
No, they're not.
So it doesn't completely deplete him. He can reuse those. What do you think of this trade? And maybe you want to talk about why you pulled out, which isn't your
Yeah.
MO.
Yeah. Mine was the sixth for 13th, I think, to be honest. I don't remember. Uh, I just thought we were kind of hypothetically discussing it because it's so far ahead of the draft, and then he kind of like wanted to lock it in, and I'm like I'm not against it, like, but then I just didn't think Skinner was the piece I would want for to use my six for. Um, and then we were kind of discussing it, and I'm like, yeah, it kind of happened real quick, and he gave me the option to back out, and he's like, no hard feelings, and I mean, he got more out of him for with me passing up, so I don't feel bad at all. But yeah, I took the out. I just didn't think he was the player I wanted for my team. So I think he got a great return on him. Skinner's risky, right? You don't even know if he's the right goalie. He's kind of like the goalie in Colorado right now, really blanking on his name, but
It doesn't matter who you are
yeah,
on the team. You're gonna
yeah,
get wins,
yeah,
and you
you're
just
gonna
get
get
the
those
wins.
wins, right?
But
But I think it's a play that Braden need to make though. So like you said, 11th, 13th going the other way or like coming back to him is not terrible by any means. So I think he did that well.
now he's got Skinner and Ottinger, which is a great
Yeah,
duo for now for this league.
yeah,
So, oh, I like the move for Braden. Just it just shows that he's serious about not finishing last.
yeah. First, like it's not often you see a big splash like that early, right? So it's nice to see him get his feet wet.
And it wasn't Mers. So
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah,
Neil sent Troy Terry and a sixth for Zach Hyman and a 16th. What do you think of this one?
yeah. I like that for Neil. Um, I think Travis might have been able to get more for Hyman being such a goal scorer and where he is playing. But it's not bad by any means. But I think he could have got more. I think Neil got a good price here.
He locked it in though, right? He locked it in early
Yep.
and Travis held to that. I think Travis just wanted to know, hey, I'm getting this return right now. Like
Hmm.
I like the move for Neil. Um, some people don't like it for Neil because they think Neil's not making the playoffs, but
Yep. But that's the direction you got to go. So
that's it. No, it was a good pickup.
speaking of
I think
players like
that
that, yeah.
I don't think he's a keeper for Neil though, because
Nope.
his keepers are pretty stacked.
Yep.
Um, but if he wants to make a push, he's got Hyman now, and that's a great piece, especially if you want to compete against certain teams who have Oiler players. You want some of those points, you
Yep.
know.
I agree.
Um, I looked at my draft results. I said, "Damn, I have four Utah players. I need to make a move." So I messaged little Casey here, and I said, "Hey, are these guys available?" I mentioned three players. He said these two could be available. These are the two, DeBrusque and Shen. He's like, I just need a mid-round pick upgrade. No problem. So I said, do you care who comes back? He said no. So I sent him, as long as it was a defenseman. So I sent him Dersey and Doan and a 12th, which is a mid-round pick for Shen, DeBrusque, and a 15th. What do you think of this trade?
I don't like it. Um, for Casey's side, I think you got a great price. I was just checking something here. So I kind of am good. We made some remarks about some of the bad picks, right? So this is one of them for me, is that he picked up Luke Shen in the eighth round. Um,
I did see that one.
so I was checking, and he picked up DeBrusque in the ninth round, and you're trading those two players for somebody of the 12th round. I just thought it was a the value didn't make sense to me there, or you're just taking the loss on the draft pick, because I do think they were both picked pretty early. And I didn't, yeah, you weren't getting anything back. I mean, you'd already dropped Jersey. I don't know about Doan for a three
You
round
dropped
upgrade.
out.
It didn't seem
Dropped out
worth,
today.
yeah. So there, so both players. So you got with your eighth and ninth pick a three-round upgrade the next year. Like it just, the value's not there. But it's not like I think you ran away with it, because I think he drafted them early too. But that's just my take on it.
I didn't like the deal for him. I
Mm.
gave him what he asked for.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's hard. You didn't do anything wrong, right? That's the thing.
no, I asked, "What do you want?" He's like, "This is what I want." I think he should have asked for a little more, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I also think he should have held on to at least Dersey. Because
Yeah, like
Dersey's a well-rounded
he's
defenseman,
been a solid player, yeah. And it's a new
and they're gonna
team,
get
right?
better
So
with Sergachev playing there.
was
Uh,
he there last year, Jersey?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because he had a solid year, so we'll see how they do.
He puts up some grind too. Um, but I thought he should have asked for more. I gave him what he wanted.
Yeah.
But I just think that was a bad trade. It was almost a little rapey, in my opinion. You know, even though that's what he asked for. He dressed like he wanted it, and I gave it to him. Um, yeah, but I was happy picking up Shen. Shen coming back to the team after winning a championship with me last season. And DeBrusque is one of those guys who I've always had my eye on. He puts up some grit, and in Vancouver, he's going to get top 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And they score a lot of goals, so I wanna jump in on that.
No, I think it was good for you too.
Corpusalo going to Neil for Quick, going to Dan. What do you think of this?
I like this deal for Dan a lot. Gives him the duo in New York. We saw Quick getting a lot of starts at the end of the year, even though Shesterkin was playing solid too. So he just gives him all the Ranger starts. So I think it's pretty valuable there. And then Neil getting Corpusalo, right? Who's the starter currently with Swayman unsigned. So
Default starter right
uh,
now.
I don't think he's gonna be the starter. I know he got let out to dry in Columbus, so it's hard to criticize his skill, but I just don't know if he's the guy.
I don't think
So
he's the guy either.
yeah, yeah. So it's a short term value player for Neil. He's going to expire. Who knows when? Hopefully, get some time out of him, but I don't think he will.
The thing is, they're saying Swayman is going to be traded.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So
So
who knows, right? I still think Dan did well getting the duo,
yeah,
and then the risk going
it
to
costs
Neil
him
for
nothing to get that backup.
exactly,
It's not he's
exactly.
not running away with this though, Neil. Don't
Nope.
worry. It's a pretty even
Nope.
trade. That's why there was no
Yeah.
picks involved. It's 1 for 1. I agree with that value. Um,
Yeah.
it just gives Dan the duo, which is nice. The Rangers are a good team. Bruins are a
It's the
good team.
risk.
So.
Yeah, the risk is with Neil, right? So we'll see how that goes for him. That's all.
Who's this here? I hate that I can't see.
You got Bedarded. Traded to
Bedard,
Terry going
that's
to him,
so
and
Strome.
Strom going to Travis with the 10th. So
Strome and a 10th for Terry and a 12th. Mentally Bedard to get in on the action here. What do you think?
yeah, I don't know. Terry's solid player. It's only a 2 round upgrade. Um, he could do better than he did last year. So there's some upside there for sure. And I think similar player to Strom though. Really, in theory, Strom had a solid year too. They're both kind of similar players, so they both got what they
I
wanted
think
out of
Terry's
this.
a more of a goal scorer though,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
maybe that's what
Strom's like a Backstrom.
I think. Anaheim though is going to be a lot more offensive. At least they have the talent to be. Whether they take that step or not, that's to be seen.
It's only a matter of time, right?
It is, and
That's the thing.
Terry's gonna be a big part of that, right? So I like the addition of Terry. It costs him barely anything. I don't know though. Strome for Terry is kind of a wash, but
Yeah, that's my
if they're
thoughts.
happy, they're happy. Riley Smith, where'd he go here? He went to Soroka and these nuts in exchange for Lawson Krause and a 13th. So we got Riley Smith and an 11th for Krause and a 13th going to Domo. I will start by saying I love Krause. I love what he brings. If I didn't have a whole handful of Utah players already at the draft, I would have jumped on that because he grinds and he's about a 20-25 goal scorer. What do you
Yeah,
think of this trade?
yeah, I have the same take. I was eyeing him in the draft. He got taken late enough, I believe, but I didn't draft around that time. I think it's a great upgrade for Domo. Don't know how long he'll be there. That's the only unknown, right? But I think it's a guy
On
that you
Domo's
know what
team?
you're gonna get. Yeah, that's the thing. So if you're gonna keep him longer term, not as a keeper, obviously. I think it's a great trade for only 2 picks. An 11th is not much.
I agree. I like Krause a lot better than Riley Smith. I think Riley Smith is just one of those guys that you can find a Riley Smith on the waiver wire. But again, that's why you got the pick upgrade because Riley Smith was a throwaway.
Yeah, exactly.
Perdomo picked almost all in the 18th, so he had some
Yeah,
work to do, right? He had some work to do.
you did. That's for sure.
Now we got here who
This is me now.
you and Domo. So you
So I
got
traded
Suzuki.
my 7th and my 10th in Josh Norris to Domo for Nick Suzuki and 2 13th rounders.
All right, tell me about this trade.
Yeah, I'm looking for getting some youth in my keepers. Trying to invest in some younger guys. I think Suzuki's a solid player. Great season last year. He does a little bit of everything. I like his energy he brings. Only had to pay a 7th for him. Uh, and I think he's keeper material. Maybe early for that, but I'm not. I am willing to invest in him. So I was pretty happy with getting him for only a 7th. But then the extra pick in there, it's only a 10th. It's not too bad. I can recover because it's 2 13s coming back. It's not the 18th, right? So that's my take.
I like Suzuki. He has a lot of potential this season. He's gonna have a breakout year some point playing with Caulfield because Caulfield's also gonna have a breakout season. He's gonna be on the line to get all his assists from Caulfield's goals. So I don't mind a 7th for Suzuki. A 7th and 10th, that's a lot, but I understand why because you're trying to improve your keeper base. So from that standpoint, it's worth it. Now, before we get into this next trade, we have like less than 2 minutes. So we're
Mhm.
going to take a break and we'll be back for part two, boys.
Sounds good.